G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags. Well, the last video I posted up, the F7F video, one of my subscribers, the House Ones, successfully managed to predict that I was going to put up the 229 as my next upload. I hate being predictable, so here's the D-13 instead. I actually wanted to post this video anyway because I've seen a few comments floating around of people complaining that Germany's getting their asses kicked in Era 4 and being punished as they have been. And honestly, that's one thing I really haven't experienced this patch. Now, I flew most of the matches that I did to unlock the 229 exclusively in high BR Era 4, so looking at the D-13 and the K4 were my two primary aircraft that I used to unlock the 229. And my experience in that level was 8 out of 10 matches were a victory to Germany. To add to it more, pretty much every single match that I flew, the Allied forces had jets, and most of them the Germans did not, and it just is not making a difference anymore. And it's not the performance of the aircraft. While some of them have gotten a little bit better to fly, overall most of them are about the same as they were before. The major change that has taken place here, the Germans now have guns that work. Now this match started with a pretty standard B-17 base rush, right in the opening moments. Guys, this is 1.43. That doesn't work anymore. First kill. Now the second thing that's changed is the damage on the 50 caliber machine guns. Now I've seen a lot of complaints about this, mainly American pilots who love their 50 cals complaining that they now do no damage. I don't think it's so much of a case of them doing no damage, I think it's more of a case that they are no longer doing the damage that 30mm cannons should be doing. The impact that I just took from the 4 defensive gunners of that B-17, that would have been a one-shot kill in patch 1.41. Now, it is still a fatal hit in 1.43. It has done critical damage to the engine, and the engine is now going to slowly die over time. Eventually I am going to have to land, or I am going to crash. It will just take about 3 or 4 minutes before the engine fully dies. The penetrating hit from that 50 cal, as you can see the smoke coming out the back, took the cooling system straight off the engine. Now, I was just keeping an eye on the Ace fighter from SFB Squadron down here. He looked like he may have been trying to dive away to evade fighters, but he broke on the way down, so I'm guessing he had something removed up here at altitude. Now, I'm not heading straight back for base. At this time, I don't think I need to. I know my engine is going to die, and I know I have a time frame of between 3 and 5 minutes before it dies. I'm not going to go far away from the base. I want to stay close enough that I'm able to glide back, but I just want to play defensive around this area. With the new spotting mechanics, it's entirely possible that the entire enemy team could be 7 kilometers away from me and my team, and nobody would be able to see one another. So better to play defensive while the engine is operating before running back to base to get a repair, because I could find myself on the ground with enemy fighters incoming and just be trapped. So I fly around patrolling for about 60 seconds, absolutely nothing pops up, and then I get an emergency call from a 229. He's got an F8F on his tail and it is all over him. He can't avoid it at this point in time, and I was relatively close in, so I thought I'd go over and quickly give him some assistance. Now the engine's still looking good at this moment, so I should be able to easily extend out almost to the enemy bases, spike off this F8F and then get back to base for landing. So I'm not too stressed about this. 229 goes overhead, F8F rolls over to try and get him, and I take the wing. Second kill in the match. Now, I did use the WEP then to close in rapidly to get the strike on target. I'm now heading straight back towards base. You'll notice that the engine, just that quick pulse of WEP was enough to send it pink. I'm now looking at about 2 minutes before engine burnout, so I need to get this thing back to base. I need to get it on the ground now. 60 seconds later, and there is a bearcat between me and the runway, and the engine is now flashing bright red, so I am in a world of trouble. I got to get rid of this guy in a real hurry. The 190s seem to have been completely outmaneuvered by him at this point, so I'm just going to eliminate him from the match now. Just line up the shot. Thank you very much. Third kill of the match, and that dive brought my airspeed up to over 650 kilometers an hour, which is actually a really good thing because my engine just went black and I'm going to need that speed to glide to the runway. Well, I actually have probably got more speed than I really need. The runway is just there, but I would rather have extra speed and have to bleed it off than not have enough and crash into the city of Berlin. I'm also still carrying 514 rounds of cannon ammunition, so while I don't like to do it, I do have the option to ballistic brake on a high-speed landing if necessary at the moment. Now the aircraft is naturally dropping speed with an engine that's black at the moment. It's losing torque. I'm already down below 500 kilometers an hour. I'm only managing to maintain the speed I am now because I'm in a gentle dive. So I've just throttled back all the way to zero, but the D-13 is one of those planes that doesn't like to lose a lot of speed itself. It's really quite difficult to slow this plane down. So time to give it a little bit of assistance. Start off with a series of aerobraking maneuvers with the engine set to zero. No flaps on the first pass, activate flaps on the second, and then just begin zigzagging back and forth on the approach to the runway, trying to bleed off, trying to get down below 300 kilometers an hour really, but it's not going to happen. With the engine in this current state, I don't want to take a second pass, so I am going to go for the ballistic braking approach. 300 kilometer an hour touchdown. Yeah, that seems to be bleeding speed fast enough. I'm really not a fan of using the ballistic brakes all that often. The only reason I'm really doing it here is because if you don't slow down fast enough on this runway, there's a bunch of trees and buildings at the end of it that will just destroy your aircraft, so I need to stop. Also, I have to say, Gaijin did an excellent job on the new gun sounds. The MG151s just sound meaty now. And this is a problem. I finally made the stop on the runway, and remember what I said before about an enemy aircraft could be 7 kilometers out as you're approaching into land and you wouldn't be able to see it? That's a MiG-9. See how it's flashing like that? That means he's targeting me. I'm about to get my ass strafed out. 6 seconds. Repair faster, please. Oh no, Jasper Zulu, why are you coming into land? This is the worst possible time to land. I don't even want to be on the ground. Don't put yourself down. Wave off. No, he's not going to. He's going to come in. Shit. Oh, the MiG-9's locked onto me. It's closing fast. Looks like he's going to take a crack at that HO229, then try and take me, and then he'll take Jasper Zulu, and he'll try to do all three of us in a row. 229 has crashed, so that makes me the next in the sequence. Get just enough speed, wheels up, lift the nose, come on, line the shot. Get a good solid hit, but no critical. And he goes straight in on Zulu, and he's out of the match. Now it's quite possible Zulu had critical damage there and he had no choice but to put down on the runway. But if you're in a situation where your aircraft does not have critical damage, be sure to check the skies before you try and put wheels down, otherwise that is what will happen. Now, I have to avenge my teammate. 1.2 out, line the shot, swing it over, thank you. Burn, you runway vulturing bastard. Now let's bring the nose around just in case the fire goes out. I'm not expecting it to. Fires seem to be doing what fires should be doing in 1.43, so... And there he goes, into the buildings, and he's out of the match. So, my teammate's been revenged, and I'm on my 4th kill of the match. I've pretty much got a full load of cannon ammunition on board, and I'm completely undamaged. Time to go hunting. Now, at this point, I knew there were 2 enemy aircraft remaining, and I knew one of them was an IL-28, which is a problem. I didn't know what the other one was. Now, the IL-28 could have dragged the match out forever and possibly won. Thankfully, we had a really, really good German team here, and we all spread out about 7 kilometers apart and passed our way across the match. And it didn't take us too long, about 4 minutes before we located the IL-28. Now, a D-13 wingman located the 28. I was the closest aircraft to respond, so I was the first one coming in. We only have 3 D-13s, including myself, left, and a 162, and there's the missing aircraft. It's a P-80, and it's just dove out of the limitations on the new spotting system and taken out the D-13. Looks like I have another teammate to avenge here. Thankfully, the P-80 is, well, while its flight model may have improved, it's still not a particularly great or fast aircraft. And I have 700 kilometers an hour worth of dive energy built up here, so there's no way known this bastard is going to outrun me. First shots go a little wide. I was more spraying rather than aiming here. Close in. My convergence is set to 400 for this. And apparently that critical removed his flap. I honestly think the flap was the least of his troubles. So that's kill number 5, but that does put me within close range of an IL-28. And these things... I hate these things. They're such a cheap aircraft. They really are. The BR rating of these things just disgusts me. So it goes past. Unfortunately, I basically killed myself here. I could have executed this guy and taken 6 kills for the match, but I hesitated on the trigger, didn't have enough lead, and that put me right in the line of his rear gunner. And it only takes one hit from an IL-28's rear gunner to eliminate any aircraft in the game at the moment. So, ace in a day, 5 kill match in the D-13 ended by the cheapest, nastiest, most disgusting plane in War Thunder at the moment. And the one thing that really upsets me about this patch. Thankfully, we have Felix 1 here, and Felix 1 doesn't seem to like the IL-28 too much either. Game over. We win. So with just a serve, we go into the results. First place for the team with 5 kills, however I did not survive the match. Soft Landing Award, Fighter Rescuer, Avenger X2, Ground Forces Rescuer, Shadow Strike X4, Windstreak X3, Terror of the Sky, Balancer, and a 1500 Silver Lion trophy, 129,445 Silver Lions, and an RP result that was quite respectable, 37,724 research points. Now, this was not my first battle for Germany after patch 1.43 has dropped, so this was not an RP dump match. That is my actual earnings for this match. So, not a bad result for 17.5 minutes worth of work, and it's nice to see the D-13 back in old form. It's been a while since I've seen the guns being this effective. Now, while 5 kill matches are not exactly common, 2 to 3 kills per match is about par for the course for the moment, and the outcome, about 8 out of 10 matches Germany's winning at the moment. Losing is actually a very rare thing to encounter, even when jets are on the field. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.